what's up, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of the Fatman Gaming Podcast. I am your host, Fatman, and I am here with my new podcast partner, my cousin, Philip Zio Keys Guerra. We're going to be doing some newsy stuff. We're going to be talking about a main part of the podcast, and then we're going to kind of rant and rave at the end, and we're going to make it fun. Also, we have a giveaway to mention at the end, so if you watch all the way, or if you listen rather, all the way to the end, um, you'll learn about that giveaway. So like I said, I'm here with my host. Before I introduce him, I know I already did, but I'm gonna do it again. Before I do that, I am Fatman. That's been my nickname since I was God knows how young. So, uh, funny story to that. I will be telling that story of why my name is Fatman. Hopefully you'll get a kick out of it. Um, So yeah, I am Fatman on PlayStation. I am Drake12, and on Xbox I am Lewis003. So that's me. Here is my partner, my podcast partner. This is my cousin. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, what up? My name is Philip, aka Zio Keys Online. That's my YouTube channel name, my Xbox name, and then for all other forms of social media, it is ZIO underscore PHILLIP. And for YouTube, Xbox, that's spelled ZIOKEES.
All right, awesome. So we are both gamers. We are gamers regularly. I've been gaming since I was 4. The first game I ever beat was The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. Um, I've been doing it for a long time. I'm in my mid 30s now. Um, so I am a expert gamer. I am also a very active retro collector. If you've seen my videos on my channel, you know pretty much what I am after and what I do. Um, So, and let me apologize for the background noise in advance because there will be some. I am new to this. Everything is going to be a learning curve. Um, so yeah. So what is your gaming history, Zio, and what was your first game you ever beat?
I'd have to say the first game I ever beat would have to be. It's kind of hard, it's been so long. I believe I started with the Nintendo the Nintendo GameCube. So I'd have to say, uh, the games I played on there are ones that weren't really story driven. However, when it came to those, the first game of those I beat would have to be Call of Duty. No, Super Mario for the DS would be the
Gotcha.
first one I was be the first game I ever beaten.
Nice. Yeah. Hey, good. That's a good first game. Yeah. Yeah. The first good game. So yeah. All right. So we're gonna get into it. We're going to go over a couple of news things from Summer Games Fest that we thought were interesting. We're not gonna go over all of them because that would just take too long, and I don't think we really remember that much. I'm sure I could have wrote down a list, but that's not how we roll here. Um, so let me start off with couple of things that I seen it. Well, first let's start off with the PlayStation side of it. I honestly didn't see anything from PlayStation that got me too excited. For me, PlayStation was a big swing and a miss. Their conference, it didn't talk to me at all. I wasn't interested in anything that they had. I had just recently bought a PlayStation VR2, and I'm still trying to figure out why I bought it. They didn't really show anything to kind of help me in that area. Maybe Crossfire Sierra Squad, that kind of looks cool. I do know Firewall's coming down in the future. I'm not big on dance simulators, so Beat Saber's a no-no for me, and I really could care less about anything else that's on there right currently. Um, let's see. Honestly, I can't even remember anything PlayStation announced just because it was so lackluster. Let me think. Do you? Well, actually, I take that back. There was one game that that hit it for me. And honestly, it was the only game. It was Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 looks completely phenomenal. It looks amazing. The symbiote suit looked incredible. Miles looked incredible. They have wingsuits now. Craven is in it. Venom is in it. It just looks it looks insane. My one thing that I will say about Spider-Man 2 though is I'm kind of hoping that they what was I even gonna say? There was oh, I guess no. I guess I take that back. They kind of did say Eddie Brock wasn't going to be Venom this last week, so that's kind of disappointing. But I wonder who it could be. So was there anything at PlayStation that kind of hit it off for you? Was there anything there that you kind of like, oh man, I got to get it?
No, I was pretty much only watching that portion of it, just purely to see what they would say about Spider-Man.
Right,
I have to agree, the symbiote suit looks amazing. The details they put into their own version of the symbiote suit, with the tendrils wrapping around his arms, to show that it is life, that it is alive, and it's not
right,
just a piece of goop. Really makes it stand out more.
yeah, yeah. Oh wait, actually, you know what? I'm looking at the list of stuff that they announced too, and there was one other game that kind of made me kind of got me hyped up, and that was the Metal Gear Solid Delta. Originally Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, but they're calling it Metal Gear Solid Delta now. It's a remake of 3. That actually looked pretty good for me. I'm a big fan of the franchise for Metal Gear. Minus 5, I did not like 5. Uh, 4 is my favorite, and then 2. Uh, I've never played 3, so this is going to be a good one for me. And then Metal Gear Solid, the original, um, is my number is right there. But yeah, 4 my favorite, 1 and then 2. Never played 3, and I could care less about 5. Did Metal Gear excite you at all?
Uh, I've never been big on the Metal Gear games personally.
Right,
I've It's one of those games where I've never really picked it up. I lean more towards certain games in terms of, I just, as someone with ADHD, I just follow the dopamine.
gotcha.
Any game that brings excitement or stimulates my brain and helps and keeps me focused, I will stay with that genre of game for majority of the time.
Right, right. And then so then there was other the Comcast or Comcast. I'm losing my mind here. Um, sorry about that. They had the Capcom conference too. That was so disappointing. I didn't see anything from Capcom that was just Exoprimal looks trash. They showed some Street Fighter crossover with it where you can be Guile or Ryu and you fight dinosaurs, and I'm sitting there saying why. Uh, Maybe Dragon's Dogma, but I don't think you would know anything about that series. Nothing at Capcom really blew me away. I was hoping for more Resident Evil. They didn't have any Resident Evil, so yeah, that was a letdown. Did you even watch Capcom?
Nah, not
Yeah,
really.
I figured you wouldn't have. Let's see. Then there was the Ubisoft one. The Ubi. I say Ubi. A lot of people say Ubi. Um, they had their little presser. Nothing really hit off for me there except for Prince of Persia, not Sands of Time, but the Prince of Persia, whatever game that was, that looked pretty cool.
Yeah,
Side-scrolling
Lost
Metroidvania,
Crown.
Lost Crown, there it is. Yeah, it looks really good. It's a Metroidvania. I've never played any of the Prince of Persia games, so this would be my first. I know it's not the one people were waiting for. They're waiting for the Sands of Time remake, but that's been delayed even further. So, but this one looked really good. I'm into the side-scrolling stuff, playing Metroid Dread recently, so yeah, I can get into that. Then we got some more on Assassin's Creed Mirage, is it?
Yeah,
Yeah, Assassin's Creed Mirage looks phenomenal. I'm excited for that. I can't wait. It looks like they've gone back to what made Assassin's Creed great with 2, 3, and all the other ones. Because the newer ones, Odyssey and Valhalla, they weren't for me. I'm not a big RPG, fill the map up with stuff and go do it. I can't do that. That's too much for me. Um,
Yeah, Origins was pretty great, and then they just dropped the ball hard on Odyssey.
yeah, I hear it both ways. And then they dropped what was it? They dropped the Division, the mobile version game, the mobile game version of the Division. That's here or there. I have no interest in that really. I'll probably check it out and then that'll be the end of it. I was hoping that they would give us a Division 3 or a massive update for 2, but we didn't get that. So that was kind of a letdown considering Division's one of the best looter shooters out there next to Destiny. Um, so that was kind of a letdown. And then we had the Xbox showcase, and honestly, Xbox killed it for their showcase. They had some bangers there. I'm not gonna go over all of them, just gonna go over the ones that I liked. Um, they had Fable. I've never played a Fable game, but this one looks pretty interesting. They had the Cyberpunk uh, um, what do they call
The
DLC.
DLC.
Yeah, they had the Cyberpunk DLC that looked freaking phenomenal. Idris Elba, Keanu Reeves. I mean, you can't ask for two cooler dudes than that to be in a game. And then they had quite possibly the biggest game of the summer with Starfield, and that game just looks incredible. It's Fallout meets Elder Scrolls, and it's just looking really good. Space exploration with guns and planets and building your own spaceship, and I'm here for it. And I know I just said that I don't like to do the whole go out and do stuff, fill the map up with quests, but it's got to hit, and this one looks like it's gonna hit. So, um, but yeah, was there anything from any of the other conferences that you saw that stood out that you feel like, hey man, I'm gonna get those?
Other than Mortal Kombat 1, pretty much nothing else really hit me.
Right, right. Yeah, Mortal Kombat 1 looks amazing. They're doing some stuff with the timeline. Liu Kang is the fire god now. They're changing that up and they're rebooting the story. Uh, uh, let's see. One of the biggest changes is that Scorpion and Sub Zero are brothers now, and they're no longer enemies. And yeah, it looks incredible. Story looks like it's going to be phenomenal. They have all we we had recorded a podcast earlier, but it got messed up, so now we're redoing it, and so we're now that we're in the flow of things, we're actually remembering things that we wanted to talk about. So yeah, so Mortal Kombat 1, speaking about that, is they the storyline and Liu Kang and all that, changing the timeline and all that. But there's cameo fighters, so it's kind of like a tag team system, but they don't stay in. They kind of just come in and out, kind of like Marvel vs. Capcom, where you call someone in. Um, so they do have the
Yeah,
cameo fighters, and I'm gonna tell you that's pretty cool. The
yeah,
amount the amount of
they're like Dragon Ball Fighter Z. They had those as well.
right,
Um,
yeah,
a bunch of other fighting games before Mortal Kombat used them too. Like Street Fighter, I believe, if I remember correctly, had some as well.
yeah, yeah. They kind of
So
they kind of hinted at it in 11 too, that they were probably gonna move in that direction because they had the Ninja Turtles, and it was all four turtles in one character. So you would swap out while you were fighting with the different turtles, and they all had different like obviously different weapons, but then they also had like different styles. I kind of figured that that would be coming eventually. Um, but yeah, they have the cameo fighters now. They say it's one button press, and here they come. And it's probably gonna have some kind of a fill-up gauge or something like that. They had some cameo fighters leak out, and they were pretty exciting. These cameo fighters. So the two that leaked out early were one Peacemaker from the Peacemaker series on HBO, the one played by John Cena. That's pretty cool. But the one that got really everyone excited was the inclusion of a character from the Amazon series, The Boys, and it was Homelander. And I think Homelander fits in perfect with the Mortal Kombat franchise. It's kind of sucks that he's a cameo fighter. I think he'd be better as a main fighter just because of how ruthless and sick that he is, how twisted he is. I personally think he would have been a better fighter than a cameo. And he still may end up a fighter, but it's pretty sick that they included him in there. I don't. What do you think about that?
Hearing about Homelander being in there, I say is a step in the right direction. Uh, what I think they could possibly do for cameo fighters is pretty much give characters that they're gonna put in a future update or DLC expansion,
Oops.
put them in first as a cameo fighter to see how fans deal with it.
Right.
To see what traction the cameo fighter will get, and if it does really well, they become part of the game.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Um. So yeah. So was there anything else at the SGF Summer Games Fest that looked like it was gonna hit it off for you?
Other than those few games, not really.
Huh? All right. Sorry, guys. So, what happened? Oh, nothing. Uh, so yeah, so that's our take on SGF. Uh, I thought it was a good round of announcements. I mean, nothing really blew me away just because we're still in. They had recently a developer came out and said that or no, it was actually Phil Spencer. It was head of Xbox. He had stated that don't expect games to be coming out 2 to 3 years anymore. That all games now, the development cycle is now 4 to 5 years. So I kind of feel like that's why PlayStation really didn't have anything to show because really they fired all the cannons last year. I mean, they had a lot of bangers last year. God of War and oh wait, was God of War last year? Yeah, and
Yeah,
there's just
Ragnarok.
yeah. I mean, so we might not be seeing anything from PlayStation for at least another year. Can they afford that? I don't think so. I think they need to come out and at least give gamers some hope on what's going to be in 2024 because right now it doesn't look like there's anything really. Um, I know that there's rumors of the Uncharted and other games in development, so who knows where PlayStation lies right now. There's also another rumor going out that I've heard on another podcast and it's been bouncing around Reddit that there is a another showcase gonna happen somewhere closer to the holidays. I'm assuming they're gonna have a direct or a PlayStation whatever they call them. I think they're called PlayStation Directs. I'm not sure or State of Play. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think they're gonna have a State of Play before the queue. Actually, let's backtrack a little bit because actually I got excited. I know people are gonna roast me for it, and I know people don't like it. I got excited for the PlayStation Project Q, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because if a DualSense cut in half with an LED or with a screen on it, a 1080p screen, I don't think it's mobile. A lot of people are already kind of crapping on it, but they really haven't said what it is yet. So until they actually come out and say, "Oh, it's for streaming only," I'm gonna kind of hold out hope that it's more in line with the Steam Deck. Because if it is, that's pretty cool. And regardless, I'll end up getting one because I'm a tech whore and I always grab the newest, best things if I can. Um, but yeah, I don't know if you saw the Q, what was called Q Lite online, but Sony referred to it as Project Q. Does that interest you at all? I mean, I know. So let me give you guys a little bit of heads up. My cousin doesn't have. He plays mostly on his Chromebook. It's not great for gaming. He plays mostly Game Pass, and he has the iCloud. So or not iCloud. The cloud gaming. So it kind of he's able to get some stuff in, but he's kind of missing out on the PlayStation front. But if this thing works to where it's only by itself and you have a PlayStation account and you can play your PlayStation stuff just from this, which is where it's honestly the way Sony should go with this. It should be a PlayStation 5 alternative. Like if you can't afford a PlayStation 5, here's this for you. Now, I don't know if that's how they're going to go. I don't think so, but it's the way they should go. If they have to delay it and add some stuff to it, then I think that's the way they go. They should, but the Q Lite or Project Q, is it something that interests you? Like, what do you think of this new device?
I haven't read too much up on it. I didn't even know that was a thing they were working on. But hearing you talk about it, it is something that intrigues me, especially as someone who played on a PS5 before, having to unfortunately get rid of it.
Right.
I would say that if this is a cheaper alternative and it works kind of like how I play currently, I would say that it does intrigue me. How, but for me, I think Sony needs to take a look at what Microsoft does with their XCloud service, and they've already taken steps towards it with their latest update to the PlayStation Plus tiers, where you can now play on certain tiers. You can now play games from all the way back from the original PlayStation
Right.
on the newer gen consoles. And I'd have to say something like that, that's taking a step towards the right direction, and they should keep going forward with that. They could make a handheld version like Steam Deck, or they could take Microsoft's approach and just have its own website where you buy a membership tier
Right.
for however much a month, and you can play games on the go.
Now it's funny that you mentioned that because actually I think there was an announcement this week. I'm pretty sure. I don't remember what day it was, but there was an announcement this week saying that PlayStation was now they were offering I think it's in beta testing. I'm not 100% sure what it was exactly, but they are testing a all cloud version of their game, or no, all PS. They're testing PS5 games out on the cloud, so you'll be able to download stuff on the. Now, I think they're doing this for a reason. I honestly do. I think it's because the project. I think they're testing it out for Project Q, and I think, and I'm hoping, I'm 50-50 on it right now. I'm right, but I could be wrong. I think that the reason why they announced that is because later on, when they do give more details about the queue, I think they're going to have it to where you'll be able to download games from the cloud, PlayStation Cloud, which formerly was Gaikai. Now, they did buy Gaikai years ago on the PlayStation 3 era for this reason, because they wanted to get into the cloud service. Um, and I think that may be the reason why they just announced that, because I think later on they're going to get an announcement of, hey, the Project Q also downloads PlayStation 5 games on the cloud so you can play them on the Q at home. Now, Jim Ryan said something about being an add-on to the PlayStation 5, so I don't know if you need a PlayStation 5 for the for Project Q or not. I kind of hope that you don't, and it's kind of like a side thing. But that'd be perfect for somebody like you who doesn't have a 5, because I'm assuming that this is going to be this thing cannot be more than $200. If it's more than $200, it's going to flop automatically. It'll just die before it even comes out. So yeah, that'd be pretty good for you. What do you think on that?
Yeah, like I said, it'd be something good, for the meantime. Now I am trying to get myself up to like switch over to PC. Um, I have some of my friends helping me with that.
Right.
But in the meantime, having something like that would be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. No. No doubt. And I think it would help a lot of people too. And I know the rumors are that there's also a new PlayStation model coming out. It's supposed to be I know it wouldn't help you, but an added hard drive for people who have the. It doesn't make any sense to me, but yeah, there's supposed to be like a hard drive attachment so that you can add it to the diskless model for some reason. Or and then there's always that rumor that's been going around for the last year of a Pro. And I think actually the Pro kind of picked up steam recently because some leaks got out or something, or somebody's working with PlayStation, and yeah. But yeah, so that's our take on that. And then what else was there? There was a couple other games too. Alan Wake 2 looks kind of good. We had talked about that before on the original podcast that got messed up. Uh, we both kind of were agreeing that that game looked pretty good, and it was given some Resident Evil vibes. It comes out in October, so it's perfect for Halloween time, which is when I like to get all the scary games lined up so that I can I can start playing those. And see. Really, honestly, that was it. So I mean, SGF was kind of it was pretty good. I'd give overall the whole thing a probably about a C. Um, it wasn't outstanding, didn't blow my mind, but it was a C the whole Summer Games thing. So what do you think on your what
Yeah,
would you rank it?
I'd have to give it the same. You know, it was pretty interesting with some of the games that were intriguing to me. Uh, but overall, you know, I'd say it was a bit slow. Uh, Especially in terms of PlayStation.
Right.
But yeah, I'd say C would be an appropriate rank for it.
Yeah. All right. Cool. We're in agreement. Okay, so now we're gonna get into our main topic. The main topic, we were going to talk about. We want to talk about Spider-Man. Because Spider-Man 2 is coming out. I think. What was it? It got. Did it get an October release date too?
No, I think so. Let me.
I know a lot of people were hoping for September, but I think it got. I think it's in October. Anyways, while he's looking that up, he's gonna look up the release date for Spider-Man 2. Uh, I get a lot of people on my YouTube channel. They always ask me, "Why is your name Fat Man? What's the Fat Man thing?" I'm gonna tell you that story real quick, so that way you know why. So it goes back to me being a young kid. I was probably 8, 9 ish, maybe. No, I was, yeah, 9 or 10. Uh, we were we had a big family outing, and in the 90s, uh, buffets were a big thing back in the 90s. They had a number of them. There was hometown buffets. I don't know. Most of you probably don't even know what that is, but it was basically an all-you-can-eat. Go in there and throw down. We were having a family thing. I don't remember what it was for. And my whole family was there. My grandparents, all sets of my grandparents, my aunts, uncles, my family, my mom, dad, brothers, sisters, and all that stuff. This is prior to Zio even being born. Um, and we're in there, and I had a good appetite when I was young. Like I could eat. Um, so we're going in there, and I'm throwing down plates of spaghetti, and I'm throwing down chicken, and I'm throwing down all kinds of stuff. Uh, So I would say that I threw down at least 6 plates of food that day. And granted, I'm 10, so my stomach's not very big. I wasn't a chunky kid at that time either, so uh, yeah. So I threw down. We're all done eating, and we're kind of chatting around the table and having a conversation, and everyone's laughing, and I start feeling something in my stomach, and it's rumbling. I'm not feeling good at this point, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I gotta throw up. I'm not doing good. I had completely overate. So I run to the bathroom in this buffet, and it was called JJ North. If anybody remembers that restaurant, then we're best friends. Uh, uh, I run to the bathroom, and every stall is full. There's someone in there. I cannot get to a toilet. Uh, uh, I'm like, I'm about ready to die. I'm gonna explode. Uh, and I'm not gonna throw up in a urinal because I wasn't thinking straight. I'm about to just blow chunks everywhere. So I think, okay, I'll just go throw up in the sink. Well, there's 3 grown ass men standing there, and they're in the way, and I don't know what to do. So fate had it, and I exploded. I straight threw up over the entire bathroom. I covered that bathroom in everything that I ate in the last hour, and I was embarrassed. The guys that were in the stall, they jumped off the toilet and they ran out of that bathroom like they had just seen a ghost. And it was quite possibly the most embarrassing moment of my life at that time. And I my dad comes running in because someone said that the kid is in there throwing up all over the place. My dad runs in because he knew it was me. He makes sure I'm okay, helps me wash off, and then out of embarrassment, my family straight leaves. We're done. We're out of that place. And I decided at the end, because there was a nice dessert tray right there, on my way out, throwing up, purging, and being empty at this point, I'm gonna grab me a blueberry muffin. And I grabbed that blueberry muffin, and I go to my dad's car, and I'm sitting there eating it. And my dad looks back at me, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Eating this muffin." He's like, "No, you're not." And he grabs the muffin and he throws it out the window, and I cry like a baby. And my dad says, and he said it a lot meaner, but basically the name that came out was "You're a fat man." And my name's been Fatman ever since, and that's the origin of the name of the channel and my nickname. So now you all know the story and and why that is the name. But I will be changing the name of the channel. I had a request from someone that has a similar channel name if I could. We're in the negotiation right now, so I can't say who it is, but yeah, so that's probably gonna happen sometime soon. I haven't decided on a name yet, but I'll get it figured out. But anyways, we're gonna get into the main subject now that we got the comedy out of the way, and our news bits. So we're gonna start on Spider-Man. So I'm gonna let you take over real quick, Zio. I gotta go grab something real quick. So just filling people on make sure. Well, spoiler ahead, guys, because this game's already a couple years old. So we're gonna get into it. So I'm gonna let Zio take over real quick. I'll be right back. I gotta go put something in my room. But go ahead and give them your take on Spider-Man, and yeah, take over from there.
All right. First of all, I'm gonna apologize for anyone who was eating or drinking or doing any sort of that form while he was telling that story. And then as well as to talk about the release date of Spider-Man 2 real quick. It is releasing on October 20th, and I'm pretty excited for this game. But let's take it back to the first Insomniac, to the Marvel Spider-Man for the PS4 when Insomniac released it. So I was pretty excited for this game as well. I grew up watching Spider-Man. I was born in 2000. I grew up with the Sam Raimi Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, and so it's been a big part of my life.
Okay.
And growing up with Tobey, Sam Raimi, all those characters, you can pretty much, as a little kid, get hooked on the superhero stuff. And so when they first announced Marvel Spider-Man for the PS4, I had played the original PlayStation game, the PS2 game, um, and those were good. I didn't get a chance to play the Amazing Spider-Man games, unfortunately, so I don't have an opinion on them. But, when Insomniac said that they were working on this one, I thought, okay, let's see what they're going to do. And, in terms of graphics were great, story was great. You know, the suits, especially, were amazing. The amount of suits they added to give Spider-Man a different feel for each game, and then the Insomniac only design for their suits, the upgraded suit, was fantastic. What do you think about gameplay?
Oh, I thought. Can you hear me? Is my mic still on?
Yeah.
Okay. I honestly, when they announced Spider-Man for Marvel, I was just like, oh, the PlayStation Spider-Man. I was just like, whoa, okay, this is gonna be interesting. Because at the time, my favorite superhero game at the time, which was really kind of the only one, was Batman, the Arkham series, and those games were phenomenal. The gameplay, the mechanics, the storylines, top tier games right there. So when they first showed the trailer for Spider-Man, I was getting a lot of those vibes from the Arkham series. I was like, oh man, this is gonna hit. And me, honestly, I wasn't the biggest Spider-Man fan until, and I know this is gonna be blasphemy, Andrew Garfield series. I thought so. There's always that debate, like who was the best Spider-Man. I think overall the best Spider-Man is Tom Holland. I think the best Peter Parker was uh was Tobey Maguire, and I think that the best suit was Andrew Garfield's. And obviously Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, the most underrated Spider-Man. I thought this series was a lot better than people thought it was. I was really looking forward to the third movie that never happened, kind of hoping that it does happen still. Now that he's been in the last one and him and Toby were in the last one, so there's a lot of stuff they can do, especially since Sony owns the right to Spider-Man, and then they kind of just loan him out to Marvel. Uh, but the gameplay wise, it was really awesome. The combos were great. Like the webbing stuff was all cool. Um, I think I honestly, I'm gonna tell you guys right now, I never finished Spider-Man. I got probably 55% in there just because I went hunting for all the backpacks. I literally was doing all the side stuff before I even got to the main storyline. Where I left out in the storyline was uh let's see, where did I leave off the storyline? I left off the story right when Doc Ock gets the arms working right before he shifts into being Doc Ock. Um, but I have seen tidbits and stuff like that of the story, so I kind of knew where it goes and all that, and kind of had it spoiled for me already. But um, I did like the whole thing of the Sinister Six. I thought that was pretty awesome. There were some heavy hints in there about Venom, and I think didn't they show Venom in the first game?
Yes, well, they didn't show him specifically, but what they did was how they're explaining Venom in this game is something that Norman Osborn made to save his son Harry in this world, in this Earth,
Right.
as the Marvel universe is connected through. Um, this version of Harry Osborn has the same disease as his mother did, which rapidly will degenerate one's body and is completely fatal. So, in order
So
to stop it, Norman comes up with something similar to the symbiote.
right. So basically, kind of like the Harry Osborn disease in Garfield's second movie.
Yeah,
Okay. So yeah, I knew that there was rumors. I knew that there because I did find an audio file of I think it was an audio file of Norman talking about the symbiote. Uh, so I knew he was hinted at in the game. I don't know if they ever showed him or not because I didn't finish it, but I thought I heard somewhere post credit that Venom did kind of make an appearance, at least the symbiote goo. So
yeah, yeah. It was in the post-credit scene.
okay,
Norman goes back into his hidden lab inside his apartment building,
right,
and during a mission that took place there, actually, as when you're playing as Mary Jane, there's a big test tube,
uh huh,
and it's closed off. You can't see inside. It's completely blank at that point.
gotcha.
It isn't until the post end credit scene, that we see Osborn open it to make sure that Harry's still okay, and that's
Uh-huh.
when the symbiote pops out and sticks to the glass, showing that Venom is being introduced in the
I
upcoming game.
gotcha. Okay, that's cool. But let me just throw this out there: the Mary Jane levels suck. The fact that Insomniac even put those in there is mind-boggling because those levels taking excuse me, taking over Mary Jane sucks. Those are some of the worst parts of that game. I did the one and I was just like, I don't ever want to do this again. And then they gave me another one and I was just like, okay, don't do that again. And then it sounds like they did it again after that. Um, but
Yeah,
going,
she has a total about 3 missions. I mean, like, a lot of people had gripe with that. Uh, for me, my only issue was that it it has its pros and cons. One of the pros of playing as Mary Jane is, it does give the side characters uh more time on screen, so they're just
Right.
not in the story, and then you don't see them again until another cutscene.
Right. Now, don't
And
get me
then
wrong.
the con is that her missions are just a bit more slower
Yeah,
than Peter's were.
you're right. And don't get me wrong. Mary Jane, great character, and nothing against her, but her level suck. Let's see. And then there was the Sinister Six stuff, and then they always got to do that with with great power comes great responsibility. And in the game, if I remember incorrectly, it was Aunt May that delivered that line. Uh, Due to, and again, guys, spoiler warning, okay? We said it in the very beginning. Uh, Aunt May is the one that got Uncle Ben in this. Am I correct?
Uh, yeah, it's heavily implemented that Uncle Ben still wound up the same way.
Right.
He still ended up passing away. And that because it's shown in this game that Peter's already been doing this for so many years now. So it
Yeah,
seems
he's a
though the
seasoned
great
Spider-Man.
power with comes great responsibility originally came from Aunt May to Uncle Ben, who passed it on to Peter during his passing.
Right.
Um, and then, yeah, like I said, spoiler warning, with Aunt May passing away, it was just more so of a bigger heart wrench and twist that no one saw coming.
Right. Yeah. Just like in what was it? What was the name of the last movie? There was Homecoming, Far From
No Way
Home,
Home.
No Way Home. That's right. Yeah, just like in No Way Home, Aunt May's death and that was a hard one. That was a you didn't expect it. But yeah, the gameplay in this game, like you going back to the original question, it was perfect. It was great. Web swinging felt good. It wasn't like the original Spider-Man games, and you got to remember that back then, processing power and all that stuff, it was weird. And I think even in the original, I think even in Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man movies, he kind of just flung his webs in the air and it stuck to whatever. But and that was in the thing in the original games too. Like in the Spider-Man, the tie-in games for Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man movie, and then I think even Andrew Garfield's tie-in games, the web slinging wasn't very good. Yeah, and there was always that you'd shoot your web straight in the air and swing, or it attached to something invisible, and I always felt like that was kind of lame. But
Yeah.
this Spider-Man game, you can clearly you're attaching to a building. You see your web hit a building and you fling off of that. Um, I always thought that was cool, especially when how fluid it moves. Like I can't believe when I first played it on PS4 Pro, I couldn't believe how fast you were swinging and how fluid the motion was and just how great it felt. And then when you screwed up, you knew you screwed up because you took an angle wrong or you shot a building that was too small or um yeah. And then what was it? One of my favorite things to do was to climb all the way up to Avengers Tower and then jump off and then watch the ground crumble beneath you. So I always thought that was pretty cool too. But yeah, the gameplay wise, it was just perfect. The spider sense thing worked, the counter system worked, the combos worked, the different web add-ons and different things you can do with the web were pretty good. Um, I thought the very first battle with I think it was what was it, Shocker and Kingpin. I thought
Yeah.
that was pretty cool. That was just a perfect way to start the game off. Um, I like the whole Doc Ock being your mentor right out the gate and you helping them and you being one of the main reasons why he kind of transitioned to being a bad guy. So um, I thought that was all perfect. But
Yeah, and
yeah,
I mean, like, it really gave, speaking of Otto Octavius, Dr. Ock, um, it really gave some history between Norman and Octavius, because there are some points in Spider-Man's history where, they're bitter rivals, they're
right,
friends that turned against one another. this one really hones in on the aspect that they were once college buddies,
Hmm.
and they started Oscorp together until Martin Lee happened, and
Right.
being the main Martin Lee being the main antagonist for a majority of the game up until Doctor Octopus comes into play.
Right.
You know,
What was his name? Mr. Negative or something like that?
yeah, one of the
Yeah.
more comic book villains that hasn't really gotten a lot of showtime.
Yeah, because honestly, before this game, I had never heard of him. So.
Yeah, and most people haven't, myself included. I didn't know anything about Mr. Negative until the game came out, and then it showed more of his backstory, and people started bringing up comics about him.
Right.
Uh, fighting against him, was very good. And then going off your web slinging on the game, when they upgraded to the PS5, and the PS5 having the adaptive triggers,
Oh
the
yeah.
web slinging became even more fluid,
Right.
because I pressed down. If you didn't press down all the way for the adaptive trigger to take place, you'd get a quick, short, a good web sling. But then when you would jump off and you do it again, you press the trigger all the way down, you'd actually feel like you're swinging across the web, like you would feel it coming out of your wrist,
Yeah.
like how he would.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I actually never played it on the PlayStation 5. I have the Miles Morales expansion here, and I have, well, it's the entire game. The first game and Miles Morales all bundled in that disc. I never played it. It's still wrapped in the plastic. I had been wanting to go back to it, but I think I'm gonna wait now closer to Spider-Man 2's release before I do that, so that way I can go through the game and then beat it and then jump right into 2. Um, but yeah, I mean that's the power of them triggers. I mean they toted them when they announced the PlayStation 5, so yeah, it's great to see all that. I have played what was it I played? I played. I noticed the difference with them, the triggers with Call of Duty, and then the triggers. What was it in God of War? You could feel the triggers, and yeah. Um, I know that there's a big thing in Horizon, but I just cannot stand the Horizon series. I tried to like it, and I can't. So yeah. Um, but yeah, I thought the game was I thought the game from where I got to was overall pretty cool, and like I said, I did see a lot of the end stuff in video and in other podcasts, and then kind of just stumbling across TikTok and all that other stuff. But I was kind of like the thing I was kind of, and they mentioned them a lot of times too. I was kind of hoping for more Avenger cameos, or at least a little bit more mentions. I know that the Avengers Tower is in there, or is it Avengers Tower or is it Stark Tower?
It's the Avengers Tower, and the answer, to answer people's questions about why the Avengers haven't really had any cameos, and why they've only been spoken of, I would have to say it's more than likely due to the fact that Sony only has the rights to Spider-Man, and they don't have
Oh, you know
rights
what?
to use any other characters other than the ones from Spider-Man.
That's true. That's true. I forgot about that. I forgot about that. Yeah, I mean, now that they're working together, obviously with Spider-Man, the movies, we think we might get at least a couple of more mentions, or maybe so that was the other thing too. When they announced Spider-Man 2, there was the write-up was saying something about Peter and Miles are going to be. I know I'm granted I'm just going off of memory, so it's not going to be 100% accurate, but they said Peter and Miles would be doing some city stuff and then fighting bad guys, and then that they would be teaming up with other Marvel characters in the in the that are in New York. Now, I can only think of one character in New York that they could possibly team up with, and that would be Daredevil. I don't know if that would even be possible. I know that they've got the new Daredevil series coming out, but I think they had to stop production on it recently because of the writer's strike. So I don't know if that's even going to be a thing. Um, let's see who else is from New York. I mean, so Insomniac. Now this one is kind of exciting because I could see it happening, but I can also see it not happening. Uh, I could see them. And now that Insomniac is making the game to it, I could see Wolverine maybe showing up or being hinted at because Insomniac is making the Wolverine game. It's supposed to be coming out in 2024. We'll see. I have my doubts. Um, so do you think with the second Spider-Man game coming out, do you think we see any other Marvel characters in there? Do you think any major Marvel characters, or do you think kind of just side people like Black Cat or?
Well, you know, in some of the DLCs for the first Spider-Man game, we did get to see some more some more characters show up. One of them being Black Cat, actually. But I think how I'm gonna throw in my theory for how a post-credit scene would happen with Spider-Man 2. Might show like Wolverine coming into play, and it sets up how he ties into this Insomniac universe that they're spinning.
Uh huh.
Now, I'm excited for Wolverine to come out. Like, I remember, like, I've also been a fan of X-Men. Like, my favorite character from them is Deadpool, obviously, but Wolverine is a close second.
Right.
And so I'm excited to get a chance to play that one as well when it comes out. Uh, But in terms of seeing any other Marvel character, I'd say since they are working together, because knowing how Disney actually owns the rights to the X-Men now, uh, and Sony and them working together, I would like to see one of the main people that was born in New York, Captain America, come into play, because some of the stories that they could use from the comics between Spider-Man and Captain America would translate really well into a video game, more so than it would in a TV show or in a movie per se.
Oh yeah, yeah, that'd be cool. Let me see. I man, I know that they said. Let me see, because I know that they said. Let me look it up real quick. I know that they said that they would they'd be teaming up with other Marvel character. Uh, let's see. Ooh. I'll look at it later, but yeah, I mean, it's terms like what they said. They'd be teaming up with like different Marvel. I was kind of like, so my there's all kinds of like there's all kinds of like Marvel characters that are based in New York. So like one that I would like to see, I'd like to see like Peter and Miles team up with Doctor Strange since he is in New York, and you can go to this the his you can what do they call it? Gosh, what is the Sanctum Sanctorum? You can go to the building or the house or the building. It's there. Like I've landed on the building and sat on the roof there. Um, also the did was the Baxter Building in Spider-Man 1? The Fantastic Four, the Baxter Building. Were you able to go to it at all? I can't remember.
I think that was still around the time when Sony's negotiations with Disney in terms of Spider-Man were kind of on an iffy plane.
Uh,
So I don't think they were able to add it, seeing as how Fox owns is owned by Disney, and around that time, that's when it came into play. So I'm not really sure. It's also been a while since I've played that game, so I'm not sure if the Baxter Building is in there. I know
Yeah,
that it.
it says I just found it. It says that it's not, but it can be now. I would think. Um, I would think that I would think now that Disney has the rights to most of everything except for Spider-Man, I would think that yeah now with Disney's permission they'd be able to get the Baxter Building in there and kind of hint at the Fantastic Four are there, or maybe do a side mission for Reed Richards or see the Thing walking around in there. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, getting a hint of Tony being around or Captain America, any of the Avengers, like Hawkeye is in New York, Stark is in New York, Captain America is in New York. There's so many characters that are in New York. They could be like, oh look, here's so and so. Like they don't have to be playable, obviously, or they don't have to like, but doing something to help them, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool to see. I know when you take pictures of certain landmarks in games, Doctor Strange building being one of them, it does sort of like almost give off a hint, because the dialogue that Peter states is that there's something strange about this building.
Right, and I know that I know at one point in the game that he had said something about Thor too. I forgot where it was. I was swinging on the building. It was at the Avengers Tower, and he was talking like Peter would like talk to himself about where the Avengers are at, and I wonder what Thor's doing or something like that. So
Yeah, because it's a current in the game that the Avengers are off world.
right,
They're not in New York at the time. They're not on Earth. They're doing something else somewhere else.
since Insomniac has I think what they got Spider-Man, they got Wolverine. I kind of hope now that like because man that Square Enix Avengers game was awful. So I'm kind of hoping like
Yeah,
Insomniac gets the rights to the Avengers and makes an Avengers game because that would be pretty cool.
yeah. I mean, like it. I believe the reason why the Avengers game really didn't go the way people expected was because
It was a games as
the
a
Avengers.
service,
Yeah, you got too many. Like the Avengers is too many characters to focus on at one time with everyone doing their own thing, and I think that's really where they kind of messed up. Was they're trying to make each character the sole focus point and giving them their own stories instead of just leaving them as as they are.
right? There is an Iron Man game coming out. I don't remember. They haven't talked about it in such a long time. Was it announced at some conference, maybe Sony's, but I know that there's an Iron Man game in development. Gosh, I can't remember who was the developer. Um, let's see. I think I wrote it down earlier. Who was it? Uh, Motive Studios is making it. So, um, yeah, I completely forgot about that until I was doing some research on it, and I can't wait to see what that's all about. If they give us an update anytime soon, I don't think they will this year. That's probably a next year thing. But yeah, that'd be pretty cool too.
Yeah, and then like to go on about to bring back to our topic of Spider-Man. When they released Miles Morales, it was kind of a surprise to everyone. People weren't expecting another game from Insomniac.
Right. Yeah,
Specifically.
I kind of thought it was going to be a one and done, but um, yeah, no. Then what? Miles Morales came out what? Almost half a year later? Was it a year or half a year? I know it was pretty quick.
Anywhere between those two, yeah, is when it dropped, and it took everyone by surprise. It was just suddenly like there was like no warning or anything. They just said, there was speculation that it was gonna be a DLC, that you would add on, like the rest of them that would add on to the main game. No one was expecting a full blown game to drop,
Right.
and it took everyone by surprise. And
I mean, granted, it was DLC. It wasn't very long, but it was good for what it was. I'll give it that.
Yeah,
I
and
didn't play it,
yeah,
but
it's
I
pretty
did
good.
watch a lot of gameplays on it, and I thought, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Like it pretty much helps you get used to. How I think of it is this that Spider-Man Miles Morales is getting you used to playing as Miles. So when the next game drops, because they have the character switching, when you switch to the character mid-story,
Right,
it's more fluid. Okay, these are his skills. These are what he can do. You already know this stuff in the back of your head, sort of thing.
right,
It just comes naturally.
right. And honestly, I'm gonna say I did not know who Miles Morales was until the Miles Morales DLC. I had never heard of him, and uh, and then the Spider Verse movie came out, and I was just like, oh, okay, I get it. And then I kind of went back and did some looking, and I found out a little bit more about Miles Morales, and I was like, hey man, this is pretty cool. So I never knew there was other Spider-Mans, and then Miles Morales, and then that's when I found out about Spider-Man 2099 and a bunch of other stuff. So I was just like, oh man, this is freaking cool. So yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
and I think that's Insomnia's goal is to take the Spider Verse, and weave it into a game itself. Like there was a game that previously tried to do it with Spider-Man. I believe it was either Edge of Time or Sands of Time. More than likely Edge of
I think it
Time.
was Edge of Time. Yeah, I have that here. I
And
think.
yeah, and some people liked it. Some people really didn't like how the story went.
Right.
And I think that's what Insomniac is trying to do. They're trying to take that game specifically and rework it by giving it a point of origin and then working their way outwards on the webs to interchange and interlock the other Spider-Men
Hmm.
and then bringing them all into one major game.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Um. Yeah, so moving on to Spider-Man 2, we saw the trailer at Sony's press conference, and the trailer was just. I honestly feel like they showed too much. I was kind of upset because they gave you. I mean, they gave you a lot. That was a big chunk of game that they showed. I was kind of upset that they went so deep into it. I would have rather just preferred them say, hey, here's Spider-Man, here's a quick, a few snippets of him being in the suit, him doing it. But man, they went into some deep story stuff. I'm liking the add-on of Craven being the main protagonist. At least what it's looking like so far, because they did drop hints that Venom's still lurking somewhere nearby. Obviously, Peter's wearing the symbiote suit in the trailer, so uh, Peter also was a lot darker in tone for the trailer. I mean, pretty much just dismissing Miles, and he was doing that symbiote takeover attitude. And
Yeah.
I thought the lizard looked great too. I was like, wow, that's
Oh
that's
yeah.
a different take on the lizard. So
Yeah, and how I look at it, how I looked at the gameplay footage that they released, was more along the lines of they've had Miles Morales came out in February of 2021, so from then to now they've had about 2 years to work on it,
right,
and I believe that within those 2 years, the gameplay footage they showed us might not actually. It might be like what some movie producers do with their trailers.
well,
Take
yeah,
snippets of parts of
they
the movie that aren't gonna make it, and use that as a trailer to captivate the audience. And I
well,
think
yeah,
that's what
they
they did
always,
with gameplay footage.
yeah, they always do the switcheroo, but yeah, I still kind of feel like it was just a little bit too much. I don't know. I know enough about Craven that I don't. I honestly think Craven's kind of boring. I'm kind of hoping that Green Goblin shows up, or just some other something that they give you that old twist of it's not kind of like they did with Sinister Six, where it's not just one, it's like multiple. I think ultimately Venom will end up being the main protagonist. I think Venom's gonna be the one that shows up. They did say that Venom is not Eddie Brock, so now everyone's trying to guess who Venom could be. I think, like you said, they hinted at it in the first game of it being Harry Osborn. I don't think it'll be Norman. I think Norman still shows up as Green Goblin. Um, if it's not Harry, the only other option is Craven, Venom. Because if you look at the pre-order, the special edition pre-order, that Venom is huge. Craven is huge. So I mean, it kind of would make sense that if Venom takes over Craven, he kind of that would be weird because I don't think that's ever happened before. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. There was a Venom comic series where the entire world got taken over by symbiotes, and Spider-Man and Venom actually had to reunite with each other in order to stop it, pretty
Oh,
much,
okay.
because it was killing the planet. Now, my own theory of who Venom supposedly is it could be a character that we have yet to see in the Spider-Man games, but is someone that's well known for being in the symbiote suit itself.
Oh,
Because the only other person that comes to mind, other than Eddie Brock, for me at least, is Flash
that's
Thompson.
right. I forgot about Flash. That's right. That could, yeah, he could show up. I don't think he was in the first game, was he? I think they hinted at Flash, but I don't think they showed him.
They hinted at him. I believe in one of the backpacks you collect.
Yeah, I
He
think he was
mentioned
mentioned
something
in one of
about
the backpacks.
Flash.
Right. Oh yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Cause then Eddie Brock, I'm so sick of Eddie Brock to be honest. I don't like Tom Hardy's version of Eddie Brock. I definitely didn't like Topher Grace's version of Eddie Brock. Um, Eddie Brock from the old cartoon was kind of annoying too. So a fresh take on Venom, that'd be pretty cool. I still think it's gonna end up being Craven or one of the or Osborn, but yeah, I completely forgot about Flash. That is definitely possible.
Yeah, because at least with Flash, like with the other characters in the game, it does make more sense. But with Flash Thompson, you get an added history to it. Because with Flash Thompson, being Venom, he actually is able to control the symbiote. The symbiote
Right.
isn't in control of him; he's in control of it, and he
Yeah,
becomes a sort of hero, Agent Venom.
that's right. That was
It
yeah, that
it
was
was
Flash.
showed in the Ultimate Spider-Man series, and it was shown in the comics as well. And I think if they were to add Flash Thompson as Venom, I could see it taking place like
Here.
as the symbiote bonds more to Flash, Flash gets more in control to the point where maybe a post-credit scene shows uh, Flash coming up behind Spider-Man and Miles Morales completely in control of
Right.
the symbiote suit and revealing his identity and saying that he wants to learn the ropes as a hero.
Right. No, I do think you end up fighting Peter in this as Miles. I think it kind of was hinted at in the trailer that Peter's going dark. Um, especially when he was attacking, some of the Craven cronies. I mean, he just flat destroyed that guy that was leaning up against the house. So, um,
Yeah,
no. So
and that's what the symbiote does to Peter. It brings out his dark urges,
right,
the stuff he controls on a daily basis. He can't control his anger with that.
right.
And
Um,
with whereas Eddie Brock and Flash Thompson, they have a good control on themselves and are able to keep the symbiote in check somewhat.
right. Um, yeah. So I mean, that's yeah. I can't wait for Spider-Man 2. That game's gonna be. I think it's gonna be great. Heck, I don't know if it's gonna contend for the game of the year. I think game of the year still goes to Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, there's just so many people playing it. TikTok is full of it. Um, it definitely has a shot. I mean, Final Fantasy 16 is gonna have a shot. Yeah, Game of the Year is gonna be nuts this year. Um,
It really is.
uh, what else? But yeah, I'm excited for Spider-Man 2. I got the special edition pre-order today. I was, or no, was it the 16th? It went on. Yeah, I got it the other day when it went live. I was able to get a special edition, so I got the statue and all that. I was kind of upset because it was so expensive, and I was kind of irked because it comes with a digital copy of the game, but a hard case inside, so you're not getting a it. Yeah, I hate when they do that. Um, so I'm in limbo on whether or not I'm actually going to keep the pre-order. I might just get a standard edition because I like to have the disc. I'm not sure where I'm going to be at with that. I always do that. I pre-order it and cancel later, or I pre-order it and then I got a lot of stuff sitting on my shelf. So, um, yeah, so I'm excited for that. I know you said you were too. Is there anything in it that you would want to see as far as like a cameo, or where do you, or somewhere you would want the game to go?
Um, in terms of what I would like to see in a game, I'd like to see more suits at it. I know they're saying they're going to be able to do a lot more because the hardware for the PS5 is something that can do a lot more than previous generations have been able to do.
Hmm.
Um, so my first thing would be just more suits for each of the characters. You know, dig deeper into the comics of each character and find the suits, and like, you know, on top of the ones that you released for the first two games, add those back in, but then add more newer suits that we have to work towards. Especially because, like, in the first game, this end game suit, um, where you had to unlock all other suits before you could use that one, it was
Right.
just him in his underwear, and it made a lot of people disappointed. Uh, because of that, you know,
Right.
they wanted. I don't remember what suit it was, but a lot of people wanted a certain suit from the games. Um, that just never got to happen.
Right. Oh man. Well, honestly, the only thing I'm hoping for in Spider-Man 2 is a cameo of one of the Avengers, just one. Iron Man would be cool. I'll take Wolverine. Uh, a lot of people are saying Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil. So I mean, obviously he makes the most sense, being that he's from Queens, and then all that. So yeah. So I think we're gonna wrap it up here. I think we're going pretty long. Um, that was our discussion on Spider-Man 1 and our hopes for 2. Um, so before we go, let's. What do you? So before we sign out, what are you playing lately? What are you gaming on?
Just whatever I can on XCloud. You know, it doesn't give me a lot of options being on a Chromebook.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm kind of limited on the games they allow on there. You know, a lot of them don't really pique my interest. I've played Assassin's Creed Origins and Odyssey. I started playing the Avengers game, but that got boring pretty
Yeah,
quickly.
it's not a good game. It's not. I tried to like
So
it. I put 20 hours into it and I just couldn't do it.
yeah, and then lately it's just been me and my friends have just been playing uh Fortnite Zero
Fortnite,
Build
yeah.
because it's the only BR game on there right now.
Right,
I'm just
right,
hoping that the Call of Duty Activision and Microsoft deal gets
right,
pushed through, and hopefully they'll add the Call of Duty games to Game Pass on XCloud, so I have better games,
right,
like more games to play.
right. All right, yeah, cool. I have been playing on my Steam Deck. My Steam Deck is an emulation monster. I have been playing Star Fox Adventures. I love that game. A lot of people don't. They gave it a lot of crap. I think it's a perfect mix between the Star Fox style and the Zelda style. Uh, and if you're listening, do give it a try. Like, go back and play Star Fox Adventure. That game is a lot better than people give it credit for. Definitely underrated. So we're gonna end it here. Now comes the part where we were talking about in the beginning of the podcast about the giveaway. So I had a giveaway going on my channel, and it was for um, or actually before I do that, I had a giveaway going, and it was the person that won decided that they didn't have room for it, so they weren't gonna they weren't gonna take it. So he said just to go ahead and give it away to someone else. Um, so we're gonna do it here. We're gonna give away a PlayStation 2 Fat, an original PlayStation 2 Fat with a controller and a mystery game. But you have to get 100 likes on this video, and you have to leave a comment. So once we get the 100 likes to the comments down below, we're gonna randomly pick someone, and that person that we pick will win a PS2. Now this PS2 is special because it's modded. It has a hard drive built into it. It has the HD drive in the back, and it's ready to go. So if you know how to emulate, it's ready for you to put your games on. It has a built-in emulator on there. I think you can hook it up to the internet and download some stuff for it automatically. Comes with a memory card. If you're not in the emulation game, then it works as a standard PS2. It accepts disc, it reads them, and it plays. It's cleaned out. It's in great working condition. So all you gotta do is get this video to 100 likes, get this podcast to 100 likes, and leave a comment. And then after that, we'll give it away, and we'll send it to you ASAP. We're gonna wrap it up here. Again, I am Fatman from the Fatman Gaming on YouTube.com. This is my podcast partner, Philip Ziokeys Guerra, and you can find us both at, we told you in the beginning, if you can't remember, I am at the Fatman Gaming on YouTube.com. Pretty easy to find. On PlayStation, I am Trake12, TRAKE12. On Xbox, I am Lewis003, LEWIS003. Send me some friend requests. If you want someone to play with, I'll accept your request. If you have any questions, either send them to me on those two platforms or send them to me on YouTube in the comments below, and I will get to them best that I can. This is the first podcast in our new adventure. I am trying to get this thing rolling. I've got 53 subscribers on my channel already, hoping to make it a lot more. If you like what we're doing, tell us. Leave a thumbs up, leave a thumbs down if you don't. Leave a comment. Don't be rude, because you will be blocked. I don't have time or patience for that. It's 2023. We don't need all that anymore. All right, Zio, tell them where they can find you one more time. Make sure you spell it out so they know, because I know a lot of our stuff is kind of like hard to get across. And then let's get at it here.
Yeah, so like I said in the beginning, you can find me on Xbox and YouTube at Ziokeys, ZIOKEES, and for all other social media, like Snapchat, Instagram, Discord, I go by Zio_Philip. That's a ZIO_PHILLIP.
All right, and there it is, guys. Make sure you go give him some love on YouTube. Go subscribe to and watch his videos. I honestly haven't been to his page yet myself. I probably will. So yeah, guys, do your things. Leave the likes, leave the comments. Let us know what you liked. Let us know what you didn't like. Give us your thoughts on Spider-Man. Let us know about the news that you thought we missed for Summer's Game Fest. Let us know what you were looking forward to as SGF that you didn't see. Let us know the stuff that you did like. I know the big one for SGF was Final Fantasy Rebirth. That's a whole nother topic for us. Probably on the next podcast, we'll kind of get into it. I'm not going to make it a big discussion like the Spider-Man one, because we did that. Video didn't work. But yeah, I'll definitely give my takes on that. He's not that big on the Final Fantasy series, and we'll take it from there. Alright, guys, this was the first episode of the Fatman Gaming Podcast, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for listening, and peace out.